Hello and welcome to that Beautiful Life podcast. I should say it again just in case because I don't think it was green yet. It says 7 seconds, but hello and welcome to that Beautiful Life podcast. My name is Kadis Campbell, sitting here in the beautiful Reddit United Kingdom, talking to the beautiful Reddit Bergstrom all the way in Stockholm, Sweden. It is Wednesday. I think you guys can hear that I'm fully awake, of course, well rested and exceptional. Isn't that right, Raj?
Well, that's one way of putting it. Although I know the truth. I know the truth. You haven't slept that much, at least not yet.
No.
But good anywho. And guys, nice to have you around. We have been having another week. Look at that now in our lives, and we're gonna try to talk a bit about that. I'm sitting here actually like sweating a bit. It's not so much due to like warm temperature, more the fact that it's a bit humid. It has been raining the evening before, meaning Tuesday evening and into the night. I don't know. I need to change my t-shirt afterwards. It's that kind of feeling. But yeah, man, we haven't talked for a week. How
We
are
haven't.
you? Besides a bit sleepy.
I'm alright. I'm
Yeah.
alright. Yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
alright. I think I've had a I am as you said, like I am a bit tired. I can
Mm.
feel my body being quite knackered at this particular moment in time, but I can't complain. I think as the day goes on, I think I'm gonna catch up.
Mm.
Like I think I've just got to a point where like I guess to an extent we all know our body, we know like what we're capable of and what it's gonna do and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I know what this body is gonna do. I think at the point it gets to after the podcast, I'm gonna still be a bit knackered. I'm gonna go lay down on the sofa while Ty watches the telly or something. And then about lunchtime, he's gonna be like, "Oh, Daddy, I'm hungry," and I'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, right." And then I'll just wake up and warm up some food in the microwave for him, and then he'll eat, and I'll be awake from then. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's pretty much
So
how it's gonna go.
yeah, when I know we've talked about this, but they are still on like summer holiday,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah.
boys. When are they going back to school? I know I've
So
asked
they
you
go
that.
back in September.
Yeah, that's the
So
thing. There we go. That's the difference because here I think most youngsters went back
mhm.
to school. I think it's yesterday actually,
Ooh.
like Tuesday yesterday. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we
The
no, we don't
15th.
we don't have it like
So
that
yeah,
here. We don't have it like
no,
here at all.
no, no,
They're
no.
still they're still out of school. They're still home, needing our attention and all that kind of stuff. So, more or less, I kind of like invited one of my nephews over, which we've been planning to have him over for ages now. Um, so he's come down and he's staying over at ours for like 4 days. So he's staying from I picked him up yesterday
Mm,
and he's staying till Friday, and
yeah.
um,
Okay.
and
Cool.
then after that he'll be heading back home.
Mm.
So yeah, generally speaking, we've just it's just been and then I think from there, I think he's supposed to be getting ready for school again because from Friday will be a week, and then I think he has actually I think no, I think he'll have one extra week at home. I can't remember what that week is set up for him. I think his mom's got stuff sorted out or whatever. And then I think the week after just be getting ready for school and then school again. I think that's how it's supposed to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
anyway.
Okay.
But
So
yeah,
you guys had a little bit of a boys' night yesterday, didn't you?
yeah. So he came over and the lads were him and Zavi were just chilling because they're around the same age group.
Yeah, okay.
So and the two of them get on real well and everything like that. So they were playing some PlayStation last night and they wanted to play on the Xbox. The Xbox is upstairs in the office. So I told them, I'll bring on the Xbox in a bit. I brought it down and I set up a couple games, and we just played a bit of everything, It was just just like we cycled through a bunch of games and had some fun and some
Nice.
laughs and all that kind of stuff. And then when it hits, I think around say 5 a.m. I think before that I told him I was like, hey, I was like, I'm not gonna tell because they asked me like when was their bedtime. I said I'm not gonna set a bedtime for you guys, but so you guys can go to bed whenever you feel like it. That being said, I don't want anyone sleeping in my living room. So if you get tired, go to bed. And just make sure to like brush your teeth before bed. They were like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty much it. I mean, when I was growing up, we stayed up until like 6 a.m. in the morning. We'd be up playing. Whenever like I got a night, like so, a family and friends came over, and my mom let us stay up and game or whatever have you. So it was, I give them the same treatment. I was like, hey, like you guys can stay up as long as you want. Just that's about it. Because it's not like they have anything to do today. They're gonna be home. They're gonna be doing the same stuff, gaming and stuff like that. So I was like, look, if they want to stay up and play, let them stay up and play. The only person who actually needs to get a bit of sleep is me, and the only reason I needed a little bit of sleep was because of Ty, because Ty, I am gonna actually need to be awake for portions of the day to keep an eye on Ty for the most part. But Ty stayed up a bit late himself, to be honest. He was awake till I think what time did Ty go to bed? He was up awake till midnight. All right. So when I got back, he was still awake. Okay. And he was awake till midnight. You know what's the weirdest thing? When I make a post from my computer, for whatever reason, it keeps saying I'm in a different location than I'm in.
Oh, that's interesting. I have experienced that too, but that was some time ago.
Yeah.
Definitely some time ago. Okay.
When I Google it, it says it's not to worry about. Sometimes your ISP says that or something like that.
Yes.
But I've been having that before now. I've not had that issue.
Excuse me. Yeah.
But I've been having it now. I do have a new ISP though. So I do wonder if that's the thing. Because
I would say it might be, yes.
It kind of bothers me a bit, that it's not saying my current location.
But as said, and as you have been reading apparently on Google, it happens, and I've experienced the same thing. Again, it was some time ago now, but the first time it happened, I also got a bit worried, and I was like, also, wait a minute, what? No, I don't live in that area or whatever city, so who you trying to fool here? Yeah, so okay. Well,
that's the stuff, man. That is the stuff.
That's the stuff. Yeah.
Oh man!
But other than that, I mean, is there anything else that you
got up to for the week? Well, we did actually meet up with some friends, and I think what was it? I can't remember the name of the town. It starts with a B. It wasn't Brighton, was it? Oh, I can't remember. We went to this town where there was like a balloon festival. And we took the boys, it was Alex, me, the boys, and we met up with these friends, and we all went there, and it was sort of like a picnic thing. So we put on a blanket, and we saw people jump out of planes and skydive and all that kind of stuff. And then we saw some Bristol. Thank you, babe. So it was Bristol. And there was skydiving and all that kind of stuff. And they also had like what do you call these things again? We also had they had these balloons they were supposed to blow up. But because of the weather, they blew up the balloons one by one at random different times. And then they aired them back down and said, oh, well, they're not going to take off. Because I think they were going to have this massive balloons, hot air balloons, to take off. And they just didn't take off. And I think we were all kind of bummed because of it. We were like all bummed out because we were like, oh, why didn't they just like inflate all the balloons at around the same time and then let them and just deflate it so that way they will like cover the whole arena area that they had where they were supposed to take off. But they didn't do that. They just sort of like let each balloon blow up at different times, and then they aired them back down saying, oh, well, the weather is going to rain, so we can't have them take off, which I get that they couldn't have them take off, but at the very least, have all of them inflate at the same time so people get a spectacle for the time that they've paid to be there, because it was like 30 quid in parking that we were paying to be there,
Oh, okay.
which is a lot to pay
Yeah,
for
yeah,
parking.
yeah.
And then to see nothing, like, that's kind of
That's kind of
lame.
lame. Yeah, yeah.
It's like, why wouldn't you just like let people like see something? So yeah, I mean, we got a bit of that. I mean, I can't think of anything else really. More or less, it's just me being, you know, it's just been me, Alex, and the boys just doing the regular day things.
Yeah, yeah.
Home
Sure.
from them being home from summer break. On a summer break. Sorry, they've just been hanging out and
Mm.
doing stuff, and they've been playing games. And I mean, I think one of the peak moments of the summer for me has been just the end of the day, like like after 5 when Alex has finished the day, and she just comes on the sofa and she sits down on a Switch, and Ty's sitting there playing his Switch, and I'm sitting down there playing something with Zavi, and we're just having a chat. So I
Mm.
think that's peak summer for me, is just hanging out with the family and enjoying the time we have together.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's ideal. So
Mm.
yeah, that's about it. What about you? What have you been up to?
Yeah. Yeah, but that sounds good. That sounds like quality time with family.
Yeah.
Modern family, also gamers. That's nice. Yeah, it's been well, what have we been doing? Well, we're back in the, normal tracks, I would say, and I've said it the last time as well. So, work and stuff,
Hmm.
although I got a bit of a, yeah, I talked a bit about that before the podcast with you.
Hmm.
I got a bit of a expected problem to show up in full force, or yeah. And I'm talking about when it comes to me and my music production, I'm using Mac,
Hmm.
and I've had my old iMac for a very long time. I think it's from 2011, or at
Hmm.
least 2012. Yeah, I think it's 2011. And it's kind of amazing that it has been serving me so well for so many years. But as said, last summer I needed to take it to like a computer store because I started to get like crashes and bad shit happening. And they fixed it so that I could use it again. And of course, it was a well-known problem with these early models when it comes to the iMacs regarding the graphics card. And he has said, well, you can go on, but you eventually it will break. That's just a simple fact. But it took like a year, more or less a year, until it happened. And I sent you a picture where you can see when I started or restarted due to the crashes I had. The monitor was like white with pink stripes going down, very unhealthy. And I was like, of course, I got like, oh God, no, 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 please don't.
That's it. That's what like. Oh crap!
Yeah,
It's
because I
dead.
mean, I've told you I have been looking for substitutes already. I have been looking for to buy a Mac Mini.
Hmm.
That's what I was looking for. But of course, this made it, it pushed me to do it even more or faster. So it took only like 1.5 day after that, and I found a few, and I wrote to them. There is a service, like a website here in Sweden. It sells like everything. You can buy cars, you can buy furniture, you can buy computers. I guess every country has their own.
Hmm.
And they also have a kind of a good like system when it comes to a kind of insurance. So the seller offers this, meaning it includes the sending the package, but also like yeah, think of like PayPal a bit. I mean, he sends the computer to me, but before that, we both agree upon the deal, right?
Hmm.
So I put in money through this software, like think PayPal again, and it's
Hmm.
just there. He can't get the money, right? So he has to send the package to me, and I have 24 hours to approve. And when I have approved through the website, then he gets the money to his bank account. So
Okay.
that's literally, so it's a kind of good thing. And if something would be wrong, like if it doesn't work, then the website has a service where they help both you and the seller. So
Mm.
yeah, it's very good actually. Very popular. It's been around. It's called Blocket here in Swedish.
Mm.
The Block, Blocket. So it's been here for a very long time. I have sold just a few things through the years, but and hopefully everything is fine. He's been nice. He actually one good thing for me, which I asked for initially when I contacted these different guys. It was four actually from the beginning,
Mhm.
until I decided to buy from this young fella. Is that he still had his receipt. This is
Right.
a Mac Mini from 2020. Since I have a like a firm, you might say, I can use that for the taxes and everything.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's at least also something positive, because as said, I'm on a budget and I did not want to buy
Yep.
anything like that in the nearby future. But on the other hand, I knew this day would come,
Mhm.
and it came, and now I'm waiting the Mac Mini. I think it's gonna hopefully drop down to me on, what is it, Wednesday, tomorrow, or the
Mhm.
latest on Friday. So that's basically it. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Computer
Okay.
week, computer
Congratulations on
week.
the on the new Mac Mini.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you, baby. My missus just
it
brought me
is.
a smoothie.
Oh, that's nice. That's
Yes.
beautiful.
So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You need something. I mean,
yes,
your
I do.
empty stomach and everything.
Uh, I
Because
think
I
I.
have my usual, it's like the oatmeal with milk. It's
Mhm.
egg or eggs, depending on,
Mhm.
and some rye bread with turkey breast on it. That's me. That's like every single day. Oh my god.
Oh, the goodness.
Yeah, the goodness actually. I
Mm.
don't I don't mind that. I don't need to vary much when it comes to breakfast.
Yeah.
And as I've said before to you, the only time I really do that is when we are not at home, meaning
Mhm.
also when I was touring with Cremata and we went I've told you already. Then it's like
Mhm.
scrambled eggs and bacon and whatever have you. But yeah, at home this is what I do. This is
When
this
you're
is
off on those vacation trips, or those work trips, you're like, madness. Let's just do whatever we want.
Yeah, let's go hey wild in here.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I pick a bit of this and that and whatever. Yeah, fresh fruit, of course, but stuff,
That's the
stuff,
stuff.
stuff. Yeah. But overall, it's been a good week besides this, I would say. But I
Mhm.
mean, this is a part of the thing as well, or life, whatever have you. This happens.
Mhm.
Technique is great when it works, and when it doesn't, you will have some problems. But I mean, I will be back on track pretty soon.
Mhm.
I know exactly what to do. I have a good backup. I think I talked about that before in a former episode. So I don't really lose anything either.
Mhm.
It looks it looks solid. So I hope it will be as well.
I
Um,
think it's good when you do have a good backup. I think generally speaking, like for me, like I came in the office today and I could hear my backup drive like like grumbling in the back on the.
oh yeah.
I'm like, oh my god! I hate when I start hearing the hard drive making noises. It's like, oh,
Yes.
something may be wrong with you, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good when you do have a backup though, because if anything goes wrong, you're solid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And mm, I do tend to keep ever since I think the older you get, the more you've had a drive or two die on you, the wiser you get with making sure that that doesn't happen. you know.
Yeah, true, true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's really essential. I would like to have, I mean, I'm talking about an external hard drive for the
Yeah.
music stuff and everything. And I do about the same procedure when it comes to videos like YouTube and those kind
Mhm.
of things. I have been, it's interesting though. I just thought this morning I realized, wait a minute, I haven't been doing like backups on our NAS recently,
Mhm.
which is kind of stupid. Right now, it's just standing
Yeah.
there collecting dust, and we
Mhm.
have a NAS. We should use it. Like it's
Yeah.
great to have another option if something happens to your external hard drive, because I've
Mhm.
seen signs. I don't
Mhm.
want to talk about it, but I've seen signs that one of my two external hard drives that I'm using mainly for my PC aren't doing that great. Like
yeah.
it has its moments where I all of a sudden can't see it, when you
Mhm.
bring up well, you just can't see it's not there any longer. It has ejected by itself, you might say. And I'm
Mhm.
like, oh shit, no, whoa, come on, don't
I,
do
I
this
think
to me.
that's kind of the thing sometimes as well. Like typically, like we will see that this is a thing that we need to address as soon as possible. But
Yep.
then we'll be like, oh, let's see how long it can hang on. It's a
Mm-hmm.
life now. Let's see if we can keep it going a bit longer. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the iMac. Like you knew that thing was dying, and you were like,
Sure.
let's just see how
Yeah.
much longer that thing is gonna last. And
Exactly. That's basically
so
it.
yeah, the one thing though is at least you have the backup of that. And I would say with regards to your external drive acting up, I would say similarly, yes, use the NAS. Like just set the
Mm.
NAS to, if you can set it to auto backup, that'd be brilliant,
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Mm,
Yeah. I think it's time to look into it because I feel that I have kind of neglecting that. So
mhm,
I also need to see if I still have access to it, to be honest, because we did change some settings, and I do think we changed the actual password as well.
mhm.
That is something good. Good we started to talk about it because now I know what I need to do.
Once you
So
get the new password, just let me know. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's quite some storage room here, so maybe
yeah,
that
I'll just
won't be
use
a
some of
problem.
it. I've got faster internet now.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Well,
So
there we have the one of the advantages with the NAS. You can do that
mhm,
remotely, like being somewhere else,
perfect.
logging into. Yeah, it's really good.
Because I know Adam does, so I'll
Yeah,
just
he does, of
I'll
course.
just
Yeah,
back
yeah.
up some of my stuff as well. It'll be fine. If there's not enough space, I'll just delete some of yours. Make some space for mine.
Yeah.
How big is the NAS, by the way?
Oh, I should know. I knew, but now I'm not really sure any longer. I don't know how many terabytes there is, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a few at least.
Mm-hmm.
What is the model? Well, I'm not sure. I'll have to come back regarding that. See if I can find the model, and I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Let me see now. What does it say here? Could this be our model? It looks like it at least. Boop, boop, boop. I'm looking for stats, you know.
Mm-hmm. I think and for those of you who don't know what a NAS is, because I'm sure there's some people listening like, what the frack
Yeah.
are they
It
talking
can be
about? It's a network attached storage.
yes.
So essentially, it's having like some form of a storage device, like a hard drive, I guess you can call it. It's not just a hard drive. There's a bit more to it than that. It's like a device that you connect to your network, and it basically houses hard drives, and it allows all the devices on that network or via the internet to access that device.
Yes.
And so it's like shared storage. They're usually quite large in the amount of storage they have. So they'll be
Mm.
like 2 terabytes or three, or
Yeah.
they tend to be in wrong numbers though. So you usually wouldn't see a 3 terabyte NAS. You'd see like 2, 4, 6, 8. That's usually how they would go.
Yeah.
Um, and then the thing about them as well is that um, they tend to also have, when they have like two drives in it or something like that, they tend to be in a sort of, I guess, like a RAID format. So essentially, what it is like each drive has a copy of the information, basically, like redundancy, basically.
Mm.
So you don't, if some like one of the drives fail, you should still have your data essentially on the NAS. So yeah, they're pretty cool, pretty solid. I've actually been meaning to get one fast.
Yeah. It
Um,
could be worth it, definitely. I mean, I'm happy that we got ours, if I'm gonna be honest. It has been uh, helping, even though I think we have to remind ourselves that we have one once again, especially
mhm,
me, Isaac, and Annalie.
mhm,
I was good at using it at first when we got it, but if you remember, we did get there was a hacker
mhm.
which like
I'm
got into
sorry.
it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It was actually me, to be honest. I.
yeah, it was you. Okay, well then I'm calm. Yeah, but that was a common. There was a common problem for many with that model, the Asus model, because I
Mhm.
think they made a mistake when it comes to certain update. It didn't come out in time, and that was like a window for hacking taking place.
Mm-hmm.
So it was down for quite some time. We didn't really know what to do. We tried to find better information, and finally, when we got it, months had passed,
Mm-hmm.
but we were able to like retrieve it and make it work properly again. So now it's all good due to the update. Because the
Mm-hmm.
thing was also the update came out, but we weren't aware that there was an update. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't get any notification or anything either. So normal people don't usually just check for updates all the time. They have to be reminded, right? So,
Yeah.
that was the thing. But now it's okay. So
Mm-hmm.
there you go. Nice for ya. And I hope you're fine also, Chris. Nice to have you here. And of course, Miss AR,
Mm-hmm.
who I know who it is, but I'm not saying the name.
Yeah, pretty much my missus sitting in the chat doing missus
Exactly.
stuff,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I have to say, shout out to all of you who listen in post. We really appreciate you guys listening in post
Yes.
and stuff like that. I do get feedback from some of the people in post. So it's always nice to hear from you guys. The only thing that the weirdest thing, I get feedback from people in post, but they don't comment on the podcast. They send me messages privately, or they tell me and like,
Okay.
oh, I was listening to this episode. I'm like, you could just like leave a comment on the post, like it helps
Yeah,
the
it's a thing.
algorithm, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
sure.
You drop a
Yeah, it's
like, it helps you to think, oh, let's share this podcast with more people. So
indeed, that's true.
mm,
Yeah, but people are different. Apparently,
people
that's
are different indeed. By
how
the way,
it
what's
goes.
your favorite like smoothie combination? If you're making a smoothie, what would you say is the best one?
I don't make so many smoothies, to be
Mm,
honest. So I'm not even good at it, I would say.
mm.
I like strawberry. I like all berries, I would say. So it's all good. You can probably fool me with anything. If you throw something in there, I would most likely both drink and like it.
Mm.
I'm not too hard to um how do you say
Please.
to please. No, exactly.
That sounds like an answer Ty would give me. He'd be like, I
Is
would.
it a Thai answer?
He
Okay,
would probably be
well
like,
then
Daddy,
it
I
is.
would most likely like this. Like, or he'd be like, you'd see you
Okay.
eating something, and like, for example, if you're eating like a chocolate cookie or something, and he'd be like, Daddy, I would, and he knows he's not supposed to beg, so he'd be like, I'm not asking for it because I know I shouldn't. Like, I know it's wrong, but he's like, but I would like to eat that, It's
That's a
like
very nice way to go around it, but still like
he tries to be clever
okay.
about it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or he would be like, I would like to play that, or I could play that if I, if I got a tune,
Oh
like
man, man. Oh, the dude, he knows what it's doing. That's
he's
nice.
quite
Yeah.
clever, and
Yeah.
then if you don't reply, which is usually what I do, I ignore it, and then he'll repeat it again.
A little reminder, yeah.
Yeah,
If you didn't hear me the first time, well, I
that's for
yeah.
sure. It's for sure. You know what? I think more and more when him and I are having our little chats, I'm just enjoying his vocabulary, how much it's improved. The other
Yeah,
day
yeah.
I can't remember what we were doing, but we were in the hallway. He was standing at the top of the steps,
Mm-hmm.
next to my office door, and he was saying to me, I think I was teasing him about something. 'Cause I tend to tease him a lot, so I'll tease him with like little things, like I'll be like, oh Ty, you know what, like we're gonna get some cookies, but you don't like cookies, so you won't be able to get any of it. And he'd be like, no, Daddy, I do like cookies, and I'd be like,
Okay.
but I remember you telling me you didn't like cookies. He's like, but I do like. Yes, I didn't say that. I'd be like, but you sure? Yeah, yes, Daddy, I am sure. And so like at one point he was
Oh
saying he
man.
was trying to get like I was doing that. That's all. That's the bit of the tease that I do with him. And he was like he was saying to me, he's like, Daddy, let me explain this to you, like, or something like that. That's kind of like the approach. He was like, he's doing all these hand gestures and stuff, and he's trying to like get me to understand, And I'm like, Ty, where did you learn that? He's like, learn what? You know, the whole hand gesture and stuff. He's like, no, I'm just trying to explain to you. I'm kidding you not, Rog. That is literally how I explain stuff to people. Like when I'm trying, like when I'm doing the podcast, when you guys don't see it, my hands are moving around the place and I'm like doing gestures and stuff. Like, so the thing is, right? And he does the same thing. He'll be explaining something and he's doing the hand gestures and everything. So like they're doing nothing, obviously. But they're there for effect. So he's doing like there's one I do with my hands just so like they just shake like that forward. You know that you can't see it because I've not got the camera on.
Sure.
You know what? It'll make it easier if I do put the camera on for you. So I'll put the camera on so you can see me.
Right.
I'm kind of in the dark. It. So it's not like this. So I'll be like, so the thing is, right? What I'm talking about is that how would you say it? You know? So as you can see how I'm moving my hands around as I'm talking, that's literally what he's doing. So he's copied that from me. And he literally be sitting there like just doing these gestures, and I'm just staring at him and laughing, you know, to know how.
Oh man!
It's just, and he's lividly trying to like explain to me, oh, but I do like cookies, Daddy, you know, and stop that, you know I like the cookies.
Yeah, but I can understand it. It's a bit funny to go on like that. I can imagine on your behalf, definitely. But I think your missus said something here that he will say to the older brother, "See and learn how it's done."
Oh, he did do that to Zavi. So we were playing this game. I think it was Injustice, Gods Among Us. The second Injustice game, and excuse me. Essentially, what was happening is I was winning against Zavi, and then we were taking turns, so we like whoever loses passes the pad. So it was basically the boys will lose it. And then Ty picked a character and he started playing against me, and Ty won, like outright won. I was trying to win and he kicked my butt, right? And basically he was saying to Zavi, "You see how it's done, right?" He's trying to show like, this is how you do it, Zavi, right? Let me tell you something. Right. And then he beat Zavi after. He was winning, man. He was doing quite good. So yeah, he won against Zavi, he won against me, and then we both proceeded to defeat him in the game because we can't have that happen over and over. But he did have to explain to Zavi, this is how it's done, you know. So he was like, you so then you punch. And then you shoot the laser, and then you punch, you know, and that's how he's going. And he's like, "See, Zavi, this is how you do it."
Yep.
And he's talking to the character. He's like, "Punch," and then if he gets hit, he's like, "No, that's not how you punch." You know, he's like, and he's pressing the button.
That's funny, man. Oh,
yeah, he's the joy of his little time at home. He's been playing Pokemon on his Switch, so he's been loving that as well. So he's doing good. He's been reading a lot too. He's playing games and he's reading the stuff in the games, like he's reading the character names and, you know, reading a little bit of dialogue in there and stuff like that. So he's getting there. He's getting there when it comes to a lot of things. You know, we've been watching a lot of Tele together as a family, and I think the show that I'll talk about today that we've been watching is something that we put on partially for him. And it came from another show that we watched together as a family. So I guess I'll just mention those two together when we do start talking about the films that we've been watching this week. But generally speaking, we've had a grand old time, just hanging out for the summer and chilling. I think it's been pretty good. Pretty good. I've just been enjoying hanging out with the boys, to be honest, because usually when it's school time, I think I'm a lot stricter when it's school time. I think Alex can confirm that. Basically, I tend to be quite the strict parent during school time. There's no gaming today. You have to do your chores. Go do your homework. La-di-da, study. You know, but I think summer Q. You know, like my dad for me in summer is quite. I'm quite. I guess you can call me easygoing, you know, because I do still enforce rules. You know, I'm still like, look, you know, you do have your chores to do, or, you know, at least study one thing for the day. So I tell them at least learn one thing for the day, and then they can go and play and that kind of stuff. So for Ty, he does his documentary in the morning as usual. For Zavi, he tends to probably do something in his book for a bit, and then he's good to go. Like I don't bother them for the rest of the day. Like whatever they want to play, they go ahead and play, and I'm not really bothered, to be honest. But yeah, they have a grand old time. The only thing you notice is having your kids around means you actually have to have things planned out for them during the day. I mean, my boys, they tend to, they're both kind of self-sufficient to an extent. Like if I don't give them something to do, they will find something to do. But they like to know that, like, Alex and I are in the house. They're so accustomed to us being around that if one of us is not there, they're asking like, so when is mommy gonna be home? What time does she get back? Right? Or I left yesterday to go pick up my nephew, and Xavi's calling me and he was like, Dad, when are you gonna be back? Right? It's been like, I'm like, mate, like I'll be back soon. Like, are you missing me? But that's how they are. They're so accustomed to us, and this is despite the fact that when we're home, they don't actually need us or come to us for anything. They will sit there and play their games and be fine without us for ages. Like once it's mealtime, they'll eat and stuff like that. And even if we don't cook something, they're both quite capable enough to like make themselves something to eat if need be. So
that's good.
If Ty's hungry, he knows how to make like cereal or porridge or something like that. He also knows how to make eggs, but he's not allowed to store by himself. And the same with Xavi. Like Xavi will make a pasta or whatever have you, and so forth. Or he'll make he'll make whatever he feels like, eggs or whatever have you. And he knows quite a few recipes, I would say. Especially like I think his pasta is really good. The only thing though, his portion sizes are abysmal. Like if you tell Xavi make pasta for the whole family, we'll starve. Like we'll each be having one grain of pasta. That's basically what we'll be having. Which he has done before, because when he learned I think Alex taught him how to make pasta, and she makes pasta really well. Like my missus makes some of the best pasta out there. And I'm just saying this, for all the other missuses out there, like step your game up, right? So my missus makes the best pasta. And Xavi learned from her, and so he makes really good pasta. The problem is he tries to when he makes it, he gets so excited, and he's like, he really wants other people to try. He's like, oh Dad, you want to try my pasta? But he brings you a bowl of pasta, and it's like by the time you taste it, it's like you've just wet your lips, you've tasted the sauce, and it's like, so where's the rest of it? It's like,
yeah. Okay.
So he never makes large enough portion sizes. So now whenever he cooks and he offers me, I'm like, oh, you should give it to someone else, because like I am not gonna I like the person. If you give me, then everyone else is gonna get less already. So might as well just take what you have for me and give some to your mom, or some more for yourself and some more for Ty and that kind of stuff. But yeah, generally speaking, he can handle himself in the kitchen. So
yeah, that's good.
There's no worries when it comes to stuff like that. Generally speaking. So Raj, should we talk about some video games?
Yes, we need to talk some gaming.
Yes.
Okay. I can imagine you have continued your journey, haven't you?
In Legend of Heroes in the Sky.
Yeah.
I'll be quite honest with you, I haven't.
Okay.
I have spent Chris did teach Xavi a bit in the kitchen as well. You know what the thing is though, Chris?
Good.
You did teach him a lot in the kitchen, but I don't see him doing any of the stuff you taught him in the kitchen though. Like I don't see him cooking like pilau or anything like that. So like, I don't know, man. You need to have a word with him. I'm just saying. But yeah, that being said, I was supposed to be playing Sky this week, but I took a hiatus. I took a little break, and the reason being, I took a break to just sort of play some stuff with the boys. So I've been playing a lot with Xavi and Ty, like on the PlayStation and stuff, or the Xbox in the living room. And we've just been hanging out together, playing games together and stuff like that, because I think a lot of the summer break, I think the way I was looking at it is like, they're playing their own games, I'm playing my own games, and we're not really doing, they like when we sit down together and we're playing, but we're not playing together, in the sense of, in the same game. So I decided, I'll just take a couple days and just play with them. And that's what I've been doing. So
but that's nice.
One of the games we started playing, which is a really good game, I didn't realize how good it was until playing with the lads, is WWE 2K 2016. So I happen to have a copy of it. I think it was from Games with Gold, and we basically just ended up jumping into that, and we've been playing the hell out of WWE 2K 2016, which is really, it's been really good. 2K16, and it's just fun. It's just outright fun to just play some wrestling and beat up people and have a laugh and all that kind of stuff. Ty doesn't seem interested in it, at all. He doesn't seem interested in wrestling and all that kind of stuff. I thought he would be, but he just looks away and just goes into other stuff. I think,
okay.
Yeah, like and the way we got into wrestling has to do with one of the shows that I'll talk about in a sec. But generally speaking, Zavi's the one who's keen on it. So we sit down, we play together, and we have a laugh and so forth. And yeah, it's just been fun, So yeah, WWE 2K16 is the game we've been playing a lot this week. We played, as I mentioned before, we played Injustice 2. Yeah. We've played there's this sort of like Hot Wheels racing game, so we played a bit of that as well. But generally speaking, we've been gaming. We've been gaming a bit together, having some fun. I think one of the things though is, since I've been playing a lot of different games and stuff like that, I have to say that when it comes to couch co-op games, they're very few and far between nowadays. Like, it's really challenging to find games that you can play on the sofa at the same time with everyone, at the same time. And even the ones that you can do it, some of them are so limited to just 2 players for multiplayer. Whereas I remember back in the day, almost every game had split screen multiplayer, Nowadays
it's quite rare, isn't it?
It is rare. It's so rare, and I find it kind of it's disheartening, I guess, to an extent.
Yes.
Because it would be nice if we can all jump in and play a game together and all that kind of stuff. But because of the fact that
it's social value, it's also player value when it comes to the game. I think that was something that a lot of people, counted on back in the days.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent still. And I think it is a good thing because, as you say, you can sit down as a family or a few friends and play, in front of a TV, and you don't have to have these different split up setups. So it is sad to see. I understand your reaction because I've been thinking about that as well. And sometimes when you also get the promise from some developers, hey, we will have split screen, but at the end when the game is released, of course, also rushed and everything. Nope, it's not gonna happen. So it's like, okay, no split screen, and a lot of people do get disappointed.
Yeah,
and it can be everything from a multiplayer and a co-op campaign for that sake. So it doesn't really matter.
I think I think in general too. I think we found more co-op, but I think us against each other, we could not find a lot of multiplayer games where we could truly go at each other and stuff like that. Just have the split screen and just beat the hell out of each other in whatever game. I think that's what I would appreciate more of. Because even for example, we almost considered playing Gears of War together, me and the lads. And we could only get 2 players on the screen at a time. We ended up playing a bit, and we would take turns, but it's not the same as just having all the lads in the same room and we're playing together and all that kind of stuff. I will say one thing though, when it comes to old 360 games and stuff like that, they had this thing called System Link, where you could connect your 360s together in the same room and just sort of battle each other, play the same games together. And when I saw it pop up in the menus for Gears of War, I was so excited. I was like, "Oh my god!" I was telling the boys this was a thing we had back in the day, the old. I was the old guy in the room back in my day. We used to have these things called your System Link, and this here System Link used to connect the Xboxes together. So you young people wouldn't understand this level there.
Yep.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Playing with the lads. Of course, I didn't let them win. I kicked their butts and laughed in their faces. But and that is the perk as well of playing in the same room. You can't really truly laugh and showboat in people's faces on the internet the same way you can do it in their face. Because they could just turn their mic off and you'll never hear you anymore. So beautiful, you know. It's beautiful seeing the. So we have this. Me, Ty, and Alex have this sort of like this running sort of joke we do with Zavi, where it's sort of a thing Ty and I came up with in the park. So I took the boys to the park and we were playing basketball in the park. And Xavier and I were playing horse, right? And for those who don't know what horse is, it's a game where essentially you have to spell the word horse by scoring points. So every time you make a bucket, like you shoot and you score, you get a point, and you can you get one of the letters in the word horse. So you start with H, and you go to O, and so forth. And the thing though is the person who's shooting first on, like, you know, so let's say I'm in the lead, I would pick the next spot where we shoot from. So the more difficult the shot, obviously, the more likely if you're more skilled, that you win. No, I was losing at first. Savi was making the buckets. He was picking the spots and everything. But eventually I caught up to him and I passed him. And I got to pick the next spot. I picked a really fast spot that was like the middle of the court. Which meant there was almost 0% chance he was going to score from there because of the fact that he didn't have the strength to shoot from there because, you know, he's a little guy, you know. You know, he's got little guy muscles and stuff like that, whereas I have big manly muscles. So I knew I was going to win this. And so we were shooting, and whenever he would miss, you know, Ty and I would I'd be like, Ty, what do you it's like, what happens when you hold a packet of ketchup, you know, like a McDonald's packet of ketchup that's sort of like you know, in that plastic sort of like you know, what do you call it, like the plastic sleeve that they put it in.
Yeah,
and
right.
he's like, you know, like it bends over, and I was like, yeah, because it's weak sauce. And he's like, yes, weak sauce. And so we have this celebration we do whenever we defeat Zavi, you know, we'll just sort of like drop our hands down and we'll be like, weak sauce. And so we have our laughs, and we you know, we sort of just we have the banter and all kind. And I encourage the boys to have that banter when we play. I want them to give me banter as well. I want them to come up with their own little things and all that kind of stuff. But I always try to like make sure they understand that, you know, there's a time and a place for everything. So when we're having fun and we're joking around, you can feel free to, you know, make the jokes and everything like that, and, you know, keep it as respectful as possible. But as soon as like we're done with the play, like, okay, cool, like have your respect, you know, like yeah. So and I think they get it for the most part, because I don't really have much problems with them stepping on the line, you know, like, yeah, when we're playing, we have fun, we laugh, we enjoy ourselves, and when we're not, you know, we're good, you know. So
yeah.
That's generally been it. What about you, Rog? You've been gaming, haven't you? You're a gamer.
Yeah. It happens occasionally. Sometimes a bit too much. No, not really. But yeah, I've been playing different games as usual, I would say. Still on this little thing where I go back and play certain games that I used to play. Especially since mentioned in my genre, my main genre when it comes to FPS gaming or shooter games overall, it's been a bit like, you know, I've been waiting for certain things to happen and certain games to come out. So I went back playing a game called Rogue Company, which is a free-to-play third-person shooter that was released in 2020. And it was released on Epic Games. This is a game that is developed by First Watch Games, but the publisher is Hi-Rez Studios, and we know Hi-Rez Studios mostly from Paladins, right? So and also this is a bit of a hero shooter, you might say. The agents, or they're called rogues apparently in the game, have these certain abilities. But I think, as with Paladins, it balances out pretty well. I don't feel that they are like overpowered in any way. I mean, still the main thing is the actual gunplay, and the gunplay in this game is pretty good. I mean, the movement alongside with the gunplay it's quite appealing, and I think it's 4v4 or 6v6, and of course different game modes. Most of them, if you have played FPS games before, you will recognize. So it's like. Oh, you were lurking in my chat, Roger, which is me. Okay, Chris, thank you for saying I didn't know. That's perfectly fine. I lurkers are also welcome. Yeah, so I played yesterday actually. That's what Chris is referring to when it comes to Rogue Company streaming it.
Hmm.
I made a video on my channel recently talking about it. You know how the game is doing now in 2023. The good thing is for the game or the community is that it's cross-play since it's both on like PC
Hmm.
and also consoles. So which means that it kind of adds up to it a bit, like helps the player count overall.
Hmm.
Also now what they did after 2020 is that they released it on Steam also. You can find it on Steam,
Hmm.
which was in 2021, just a year after. And it has mostly positive reviews on Steam
Hmm.
from what I can see. And I can understand why. I think this is a bit of a, I mean, of course, there's flaws here as well. I don't know if some people has been complaining about servers and stuff. Didn't really have like any connection problems or stuff like that. I think it played pretty well. And remember that I am playing on a bit of a more low end spec PC nowadays, so it's
Hmm.
not really. Yeah, it plays pretty well. And I think a lot of people, well, a lot of people, at least some people in the FPS community, are not really aware of this game. It's one of those that has passed through, and some did pick it up and some didn't, and therefore it might be worth for some guys to check it out, especially if you like this. I mean, they have ranked gameplay as well, so if you want to go a bit further and play ranked and be a bit more competitive, that is also possible.
Hmm.
And it has this kind of a bit similar to games like isn't it in Valorant too? But I'm mainly referring when I'm talking about like buying gadgets and upgrading guns or buying new guns between rounds,
Hmm.
like the Counter Strike model a bit, like when you buy, for example, a new gun. Here it's more like uh, you upgrade your gun or things like that. You get points or a currency, and then between rounds you can choose to upgrade your
Hmm.
gun or maybe buying a gadget, maybe a concussion aid or something like that. So it's pretty nice actually. I can see why people are still playing it, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So yeah, Rogue Company. That's been my thing the last days, I would say.
Hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
I
That's
did I did enjoy a bit of Root Company back in the day.
yeah,
It does bring back some good memories for me.
yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
it's a good
yeah,
one.
exactly. No, no, this is it's not a bad game.
It
That,
isn't.
that that I
It
want to
isn't at
say.
all.
Yeah.
I think Root Company is it's pretty chill, pretty good good
Hmm.
game if you ask me. Um, but then again, I am a bit of a high res fan as well. I do tend to like a lot of their games.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. I mean, you and I have played quite some paladins, and we played paladins on the side, so to speak,
Hmm.
as well through the years back and forth. I made a paladins video. Was that like half a year ago or
Hmm.
something?
Yeah.
Checking it out again, and yeah, I tend to like what they have been doing,
Hmm.
the high res stuff, or most of it at least.
Hmm.
So there you go.
Pretty good.
Hmm. Yeah,
Pretty good. Sort of like free to play team.
indeed,
Let's start talking about some telly.
indeed.
What have you been watching, Rog? What have you been partaking in on the tellies?
Actually, quite some. It's been a lot of telly. I
Mm-hmm.
finished a series when it comes to this Japanese sumo wrestling series on Netflix called
Mm-hmm.
Sanctuary, which I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a bit in between as well. I actually rewatched Tarzan for some reason. I don't know why I did that. I think I didn't have much to do one evening, and I just did it with Stellan Skarsgård, the Swedish actor, and
Mm-hmm.
Margot Robbie. That one from where is it? Like 5, 6 years ago. It's
Mm-hmm.
quite some time ago already. But what I wanted to talk about is the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse that
Mm-hmm.
we watched, me, Annalie, and Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is movie. It's a good movie. I want to start to say that it didn't like disappoint me. On the
Mm-hmm.
other hand, maybe sometimes when you watch a movie, you can. sometimes feel that maybe I should have watched this when I'm in a different mode.
Yeah.
And for me, I was tired actually. Actually fell asleep like briefly in the mid of the movie. It didn't destroy or anything. We're talking like a few minutes, so it wasn't really something because Isaac kicked me and said like, "Hey, Dad, you're sleeping." but and it doesn't mean either that I didn't like what I saw. It's not that. It was just, sometimes it's just
Sometimes you're just knackered. It's kind of like when I sat down to watch The Mandalorian with you guys when I was visiting you.
Yes.
It's not like I didn't like The Mandalorian. I was just tired.
Exactly. Sometimes it's just as simple as that.
Yep.
But I have to say, and this might be a bit not just due to my condition that evening. It might also be a bit of a generation thing because both me and Annalie was like after the movie, yeah, it was good. It was good. We enjoyed it. But Isaac was more, what do you mean? It's a great movie. More like that.
He was like, what is wrong with you parents? I'm going to have to return you to the parent shop.
Exactly, which is way too late. That's 23 years too late. But even so, yeah, I was thinking about it afterwards. Yeah, maybe it is a bit. I mean, you watched this, and I know you really like it.
Yeah, I
and,
did.
and I don't blame you. I mean, I say it again. I don't think that I did like the movie, but I wasn't like knocked. I wasn't, how you sometimes you get really engaged in something you watched, and you can feel it. You can feel the characters, and you sympathize with them, and you want more, and you get more, and then you want even more, and the movie ends all of a sudden like 2+ hours has already passed. That was not like my I was like, okay, yeah, cool, yeah, it was good. I watched it Across the Spider-Verse. So, but again, I can understand it has an 8.8 on IMDb, and I guess that's definitely fair. I totally understand the rating because it is also, even though I might not have had my most amazing movie moments like emotional wise. On the other hand, you don't always have to feel something. You can enjoy it, just enjoy it. But it's also really cool. I mean, the way it's like animated and the things they're doing in the movie is really cool, I have to say. And I've also get these laughters once in a while, but because it's quite fun. They have some really good comic moments. Oh yeah. I see Miss AR. Yeah, that was me with Flash. Wanted to watch it for the longest and slept through half of it. Yeah, it can happen. It can happen. It can happen, and it doesn't really have to do so much with the fact if the movie is good or not.
Oh no, she hated Flash, to be honest.
You did? Okay, you
she's
did.
She is quite a hateful person, full of bile and just anger and stuff like that.
No.
She doesn't like anything good, So.
No, I don't believe that. That's not my experience when it comes to Polish people. So I think you're trying to pull my leg here, or the listeners' legs for that. Be careful now, Q. There's an afterlife after the podcast, remember? So
that is true. That is true. I'm gonna see her in the house after.
Exactly.
Next podcast, I'm not gonna get a smoothie, or she's gonna put stuff in the smoothie to get rid of me. So
true.
Yeah.
But just to finish, yeah, I mean, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, definitely a recommendation. I mean, it is a really good. It is a good movie, and it's a good animated movie. There's nothing more to say to it, actually. Will they make more? I don't know.
They are going to make more. So,
yeah, okay.
They've basically got they've done Into the Spider-Verse, then they've done Across the Spider-Verse, and then there's another one coming out after, because Across the Spider-Verse ends in a cliffhanger. And I think for me, with Across the Spider-Verse, I enjoyed it. I loved Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Because I liked the new the new Spider-Man that they introduced and stuff like that. And I think also as well is that I know I know a lot of these characters and stuff because I've read the comics with them. So seeing all these other Spider-Man, like for example Spider-Man 2099 and so forth in there. For me, that's so cool seeing him in there and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Some of them are new to me, I know Jessica Drew, but this version of Jessica Drew where she's pregnant and has a kid on the way, I don't know that version of Jessica Drew from the comics. And then there's the I think he's Indian, the Indian or Pakistani Spider-Man. He is awesome. He is really cool.
Yeah,
And just generally, like I thought the whole introduction of all these new characters and they were doing their thing, and the relationship between Miles and Gwen, will they, won't they, kind of thing going on, that was really cool as well.
I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing because I hear you, and I think that's good because I would have liked to know a bit more,
Yeah.
like as you do, to probably appreciate it even more. Because I do remember what Anneli said after the movie. Well, it became a bit messy, something like
And
that.
I get that, and I understand where she would say that, because it is true. If you don't know who these characters are,
Yeah,
and you're not like a young kid, like young kids, they don't care. But I think if you're an adult and you're watching a film and you don't know who these characters are and their backstory and all that kind of stuff, it is going to be confusing, or at least a bit much to sort of like keep track of everything and fully grasp all of it, or at least appreciate all of it for what it is. But I think if you and to a certain extent, like if you've seen these characters before, you've probably watched the comics. And I think one of the best ways to truly appreciate this is there's a YouTube channel called Comics Explained. Go onto YouTube and pull up his Spider-Man playlist. Watch that. So even if you haven't like read the comics, he does a whole deep dive into the characters, and you get a whole detailed breakdown of each of these characters, their own stories and all that kind of stuff. And then by the time you watch a film like this, it makes sense to you. Because there are some Spider-Man comics that I haven't read, but I've watched some of his videos on them, and I get it. Like I know who this guy is.
Yeah.
So it's really, really good. It's really, really good.
Nice.
I would say in that regard. And I think that's one of the caveats to something like this. This is a film with a lot of characters to keep track of and a lot of things going on. And I think those who are big Spider-Man fans will really enjoy it, because there's like even that scene where all the Spider-Men are like pointing at each other. That's like a meme. Everyone who's seen that meme before knows what that's about. But generally speaking, I think it's I think it was just a brilliant film. I will say I prefer the first one over this one to a certain extent. Like
now that's interesting. Okay, so this is what me and Isaac talked after, or said. I said, to be honest with you, I think I prefer the first one a bit more over this one when it comes to the story and everything. And Isaac was like, no, I think this is better. I think this storyline is better. And there we are. We have different opinions, and that's perfectly fine.
It's not that he had different opinions. He's wrong.
Yeah,
Son,
listen, you're wrong.
You get off this call. When you finish the call, you go over to him and you say, excuse me, like, let me just let you know, right? Q agrees with me. You're wrong, mate. Like, and don't ever let me hear you say it again, right? The first one was better.
Learn to know your place. Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
But interesting that you say that. I mean, especially since you have more expertise than I when it comes to this. I mean, an emotion is emotion. Doesn't really matter if you know too much or not. I mean, as said, I enjoyed, even though I didn't like follow each and every one or understand, wait, who is she now? But I can watch movies without that. I don't get like frustrated. I don't. But as you say, it is a point to have some back, like some knowledge. If I may, just curious then, before we start to wrap things up, what do you mean when you say you kind of prefer the first?
So I prefer the first one because of the fact that it was a more complete story. So in the first one, you sort of had like a beginning, middle, end kind of thing, where so the story began with Miles and him getting his powers. Miles and his family. You got to introduce to the character. You got to know who he was and all that kind of stuff. Then he got his powers, and then you saw the dynamic between him and his uncle. So you sort of had that vested interest to have emotions towards that relationship that was going on there. And then you had the whole thing with Peter, and then when Gwen came into the story, and she's sort of like, she's introduced, and he starts to form some kind of, working relationship with her, and then is the whole sort of like he meets her in school and he fancies her and all that kind of stuff, but he doesn't know how to talk to her, so he talks to his uncle, and his uncle gives him advice and all that kind of stuff. And then throughout the film, you have the whole stuff that go on in the middle. I won't spoil the rest of the film if anyone else wants to watch it and hasn't seen it. But generally speaking, you have a lot of stuff, and then you have the end. And when the film ends, it ends in a way that's an ending. Like if they never made another Spider-Man film, it would be a good way to end. Unfortunately, Across the Spider-Verse does not end that way. It's a cliffhanger ending. And because of that, it ends as a cliffhanger where it leads into a new film, because it ends in a way whereby everything's not over. Like there's still a lot of stuff going on in the story that hasn't been addressed yet, and it's sort of a build up as well. And I think also because they are so, I think what helped the first film is there were only 3 Spider-Men to keep track of. Primarily for the most part, for most of the film, and then later on a few more were introduced, but they didn't really soak up too much of the limelight to make it a bit confusing. Whereas I felt with this one, you've got hundreds of Spider-Man popping up, and you have to keep track of a lot of them, and remember who this one is and that one is, and what their motives and all that kind of stuff are, and so forth. And despite the fact that I like a lot of the new Spider-Man they introduced, my favorites being Spider-Punk and the Indian or Pakistani Spider-Man, those being my top 2 for this new film, I still think, the first one was better in that sense. Also, I did not like the Spot. I thought the Spot was a lame, villain for this. I didn't really get him. And also I did not, and this is where I would say having prior knowledge of the characters helps. I didn't know who the hell the Spot was when the film started. I was like, who is this guy? I had to go on, so like I said before, I had to go and watch a video on him from like Comic Explain and stuff. I was like, so that's who he is. Okay. And his comic book origin is a lot darker than the film. And I actually prefer his comic book origin more. Like, he is proper hardcore in the comics. Whereas in the film, he's a bit comical and goofy, So, yeah,
but that's a good analysis. I support it. I even though, again, more about this verse or universe, I support your theories here.
Yes.
And that's basically what I felt afterwards. So that was interesting to hear. I need to talk with Isaac after this.
You go after. You let him know. You let him know. You said, let me tell you something, son.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you got in his face.
Why are you pulling my hair? Yeah.
You get up in his face. You point at him. You say, let me tell you something, son. He's like, oh, Dad, did something happen? Oh, I thought you were podcasting. So here's the thing, right? That film we spoke about that you said you liked more than I did. Right, we still on that. Yes, we're still on it.
Or maybe we just say which one, because it's been even so. Oh yeah, well.
But yeah, I think if the second one was more of a complete story like the first one, and there was a bit less of the characters to keep track of, and so I think it would have been easier for it would have been a much easier watch. And this is despite the fact that I give the second film a 10. I was like, this film is amazing. I love it. But I love it because of the fact that I know there's the third one coming, and I just see it as me watching half of a film. I'm going to watch the other half in a couple of years. So that's how I viewed it. Now, granted, if the third film turns out to be horrible, then it actually drops the score of this one. So it's a 10 now.
They connect. Yeah,
because they connect. Because it's one big film to me as far as I'm concerned. Sure. It's kind of like if half of the first movie was good and the other half was horrible, then it'll be a half good movie. So the second film depends a lot on the third film, and the third film has to stick the landing. So that's kind of how it is. So yeah, and also Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse, I think they're on Netflix now. Is it, or is it? I think they're on Netflix right now. So if you do want to watch those films, you can get either one or two of them. I think on Netflix right now. If you have Netflix, and you can watch the films. So yeah, just a bit of a shout out to that, because I know you can watch both of them on Disney Plus, but not everyone has Disney Plus. I currently don't have a subscription with them anymore because we've got way too many other subscriptions, and we had to choose which ones we didn't need. And Disney Plus got the cutting board because it was the one that when you consider how many people in the household watched it, it was the one that was watched the least, so
Yeah.
it got the cut. But it is what it is. That being said, what have I been watching? So we've been, as a family, we've been watching this series called The Toys That Made Us. I don't know if you guys have seen this one.
Oh, that's so nice. Yes. It's a good one.
It is so good. It is so good, especially if you've grown up with those toys. It's basically this documentary series on Netflix that's called The Toys That Made Us, and they basically go through all these different toys from back in the wonder years of when things were nice, and leveler. Obviously, there's this sort of thing that we call it's not hindsight, it's sort of like nostalgia. And the nostalgia from my childhood is stronger than my sort of like appreciation for things these days. Toys these days suck compared to the ones we grew up with. So,
of course.
So generally speaking, we've been watching this series, The Toys That Made Us, and we've been doing it as a family. So me, Alex, and the boys, we've been sitting down, we've been watching it together. And the boys absolutely love it. Like, they absolutely love The Toys That Made Us. And especially because of the fact that it goes over all these different toys, toy lines and stuff like that, and the TV series and all that kind of stuff, and the history of what brought, like, where they came from and all that kind of stuff. And it's just fun. And the narrator who does it, he's so good. Like, the way he sort of like sets it up to sort of like let us feel like, oh, they're going one way, and then they just turn it around. And the way they do the whoever's editing the series and stuff like that, the way they do the editing and stuff like that is so good. The narrator's name is Donald Ian Black, by the way. Oh, he is so hilarious. The way he sort of like delivers the whole thing about stuff. He's brilliant. Really, 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 really good. But outside of that, it goes over a lot of toy lines. So you have the Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, My Little Pony, there's Star Wars, and all of that kind of stuff. And we haven't got to Star Wars yet, so I can't wait till we get to Star Wars, because I think that's going to be when the boys get interested in Star Wars. Because so far, seeing Ninja Turtles has totally made Ty a Ninja Turtle fan. He was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. You'll be walking through the house, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. So I was just like, once he got into it, I was like, yes. He understands. When they did the wrestling one, he didn't get it though. That was the one he didn't get. So like the only one he didn't get was the wrestling one. I fell asleep during My Little Pony, but it was similar to you. It's not like I hated My Little Pony. I was just tired. I was just tired. It's not like I hated it. Yeah. But but generally speaking, like we started watching the wrestling one, and Ty got up and asked if he can go get his Switch. So I was like, oh, he doesn't like wrestling. I thought he'd be walking around the house like, if you smell what the Rock is cooking. I thought that's what was going to happen, but nah, he doesn't get it. I think maybe if I was to like get a full sort of like maybe like clip from like a WrestleMania or something, and then he watched the whole thing, but I don't even know if he'll enjoy the whole thing. Like the way he was like skipping, he was just like, yeah. He didn't even care about the wrestling toys. He was just like, Zavi got it, but Zavi's watched wrestling before, but Ty didn't get it. He was just like, these are real people. They don't have superpowers and stuff like that. They're not like turtles with a half shell, turtle power. Yeah. So same thing happened with Power Rangers. When he saw Power Rangers, oh my God, he was like, I would watch this. I would watch this. I really like this. He was so like, I could watch this series. I could watch it. And then literally right after we finished watching the Toys That Made Us, we ended up watching Power Rangers Dino Fury, and he was loving it. He was so in love with Dino. Alex and I was sitting down there like rolling our eyes like, oh my God, Power Rangers is so trash. Like, this is some toilet telly. Like the characters overact so much and stuff like that, because we're adults now. So like when we watch this now, we're like, oh my God. The acting is atrocious. But for a kid, it's like, oh my God, They just transformed. It's a robot.
Exactly. Yeah. Look at that now.
It's
Yeah.
a robot. Daddy, look. It's a robot, mate. Their minds are blown. We're sitting on there like Alex and I watching each other, just shaking our heads and rolling our eyes and stuff. And we're like, yeah, but it's for them, like it's not for us. But but generally,
yeah, but it's charming. I mean, even I that are older than you. I mean, I got some really good memories from my childhood and being young and everything. Also watching this series because I watched it together with Isaac, my youngest son. And even though he's an adult now, he also enjoyed it. It's fun to look back also, even though you weren't there to see because it has a kind of a correlation to what we see now, inspiration when it comes to certain kind of characters and whatever have you. I mean, Barbie, for example, is still around apparently.
Yep. She has a
some
whole
Star
movie
Wars
now.
story. Exactly. Well, yeah, sure. Talk about Margot Robbie.
Mhm.
But I really like this, and this is definitely Netflix, as you said. I want to say though, just to put it in there, since we did talk about the Spider-Verse and everything. By the way, hi Dan and Nalu, you are correct. I think the at least one of the movies, or maybe more of them, aren't available on Netflix. However, it should be on Amazon Prime and some other services like Apple TV or YouTube Movies. I'm not sure if it's actually on European Netflix. Is it?
Mhm.
We can check this later, but
Yeah.
I do think you have a point there, Nalu. It's probably what it is.
Mhm.
But man, I'm so happy you have watched this, and yeah, you can definitely. It's like a family thing. It's pretty sweet.
It is. It is a really good
The toys that made us.
toys that made us. When it comes on, I get excited,
Awesome.
The intro is awesome.
It's such a build up. It's a build up, like yeah. It's
Let's
really
do this. Yeah. It's such a good series, and I'm so happy that they made it. There are a few series that you see them and you're just like, yes. And this is one of them. This is one where when it comes on, you get excited, you get hyped. You're like, yes, this is good. And especially when it's like a toy line that like you had that toy. Like when the wrestling one came and they showed off the Stone Cold toy. I was like, I basically I got up and I was like, I paused the screen. I was like, I had that one. I had that exact one, and with the arm and everything. And I was like all excited.
Yeah.
The voice was
it brings back memories and the child within us. That's for sure.
It does.
I didn't think though that, I mean, the series is a bit older than I thought. The first 4 episodes of the series actually began streaming on Netflix in 2017.
Yeah, I only just saw it recently, so it's been out for a while, but I only just got into it. Like, because I was trying to find a documentary for Ty to watch that we could watch together that was like a more fun documentary than the regular stuff, and I was like, this looks like a documentary. Let's put this on, and that was it. It was no turning back after that. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's how we found it. It was literally I was trying to find something that was technically educational but fun, and we stumbled upon the toys that made us, and we have stuck with it since. So
beautiful.
It's brilliant.
Beautiful. Yeah,
it's brilliant. I mean, as I say, I again when the Power Rangers episode came on, and I saw they showed off the Power Rangers with it, because they go into so many details about how the characters were made and. And when they got to the part where the Power Rangers flip heads, and I was like, I had that one, and before they said it, I was saying it. I was like, and you press the belly thing there, and the head flips around, and the boys were like, what?
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
You might want to watch, maybe that's more you and your missus, maybe, especially her, since it's quite a few horror movies like behind the scenes, and that's the series called The Movies That Made Us.
Really? Is it
2019? Yes, it's 3 seasons documentaries. It's like it's so for me also being, especially Isaac, also being interested in like film and the horror movies and whatever have you. It's everything like from RoboCop or The Nightmare Before Christmas or Friday the 13th.
It's
stuff
on
like
Netflix.
that. Aliens. Yes, on Netflix. The Movies That Made Us. Check that out. because it's so cool when they start to talk about how the ideas behind the movies and what they used, and they solve certain situations when it comes to not having CGI, and
Hmm.
it's yeah, I recommend it. It's great.
I'm adding it to the watch list now. I didn't even know
Yep.
this was a thing, Leveler.
Yep,
Um,
you're doing it already according to your missus. I can see that. Yeah,
Yep,
you're
it's
doing it.
happening now. It's being added to the watch list. The missus and I are gonna watch this one. I think we can watch this with Zavi. Maybe not so much title sickness, and as you said, because of like it
Exactly.
could have
Yeah.
some horror films. Actually, it's in my watch list. Holy crap! It's already been in my watch list.
Woo. Oh
um,
yeah, I probably have talked about this before. I'm pretty
hmm.
sure in the podcast, in the period of Krita, maybe when the dinosaurs were walking the earth.
The
Uh,
first three are Dirty Dancing, Home Alone, Ghostbusters, and Die Hard. I would say of these three movies, I've not seen Dirty Dancing, or at least I don't remember it. I've seen Home Alone, I've seen Ghostbusters, and I've seen Die Hard. So the
oh, you
first,
gotta see, Dirty Dancing.
I'm gonna
Oh,
have to
it's a classic.
there's a side of me that
Mm.
that thinks I've seen it, but then there's also a side of me that
Patrick,
thinks I
yeah,
haven't. So
Patrick Swayze, classic movie in many ways.
I'm gonna have to see that one because like when I go through the list that they've got, so like season 2 has Back to the Future. I've seen that. Pretty Woman, seen that. Jurassic Park, seen that. Forrest Gump, seen that. So far it was
Yeah,
only
you see.
1 out of 8 I haven't seen, and then from season 3 it's got Halloween, Friday the 13th, seen all of those. Nightmare on Elm Street, seen that. RoboCop, seen that. Alien, seen that. Coming to America, seen that. Nightmare Before Christmas, seen that, and Elf. So of the films, the only one I think I haven't seen or that I may not be able to relate to would be Dirty Dancing, which I guess I'll have to see
Hmm.
that. And then once I've seen that, I've seen all of them. So that's
Yeah.
about it. And then it's easy because
Oh,
it's one of those things. I think this is also a series where, like we were talking with the Spider-Man thing, like you appreciate it more
yeah.
if you've lived through it. Like if you've
True.
seen the films.
Exactly. That's the trigger, I would say.
Hmm.
Definitely. As you described also with the Toys series as
Yeah.
well. You've been there, done that. I mean, it can be fun also for as you said, others to see, even though they haven't lived the era, so to
Hmm.
say. But yeah, it's a plus if that is the case.
Hmm.
And yeah, I really enjoyed the series also with the movies. That was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Definitely, 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 definitely. I am looking at Lady Dancing. I can see it.
Yeah.
Very, very romantical looking.
Yeah, it was a
Hmm.
big thing when it came out, and of course, a lot of girls were like, "Oh, Patrick Swayze" and everything, and it became a cult movie in a way, and it's a beautiful romantic, if you will, a movie with some nice moments and stuff like that. Yeah, I would say yes.
Oh, Jeremy, why don't you take me out and dance with me like Patrick Swayze does? Shameful this way.
Oh man, yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
happened, right? Like all the blokes took their missus to see it, and they're like, "You should take me dancing like this."
Oh,
He's like,
of course, of course.
and Jeremy's there like, "I don't even know how to dance, woman." You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? Take you dancing? You don't know how to dance. We together don't know how to dance.
Tough one, tough one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry
Well,
to all the Jeremys out there. Yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
need to learn how to dance. So.
Yes. Okay, my friend. Time is passing. Do we have
Mm.
anything more we want to add to the equation when it comes to some movies? I don't think so.
Nah, I think we're good.
Yeah.
That all I can say about the Toys That Made Us, it's a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb. I give it a 10 out of 10. As you
Mm.
all understand, I am always right, and me being right means that is the score that it deserves, and any other rating out there is a lie. So that being said, thank you for listening to this episode of That Beautiful Life podcast. This is the best podcast on the internet. Feel free to share it with everyone. And Roger, there's things that you have to say, I guess. I'll wait here silently.
Okay. Well, I can just confirm what you just said. Of course it is.
Mhm.
And therefore, you just have to come back next week when we continue to talk about the beautiful stuff in life and
Mhm.
also gaming and the TV and everything. So take care, my friends. I'm happy that you were here listening. Also, live, you guys there in the chat. Thanks for being here. It means a lot. And also, you guys, of course, listening afterwards. So take care, my friends. Enjoy life and stay healthy. And until next time, Muffin and out.
Beautiful as always. So as always, guys, we wouldn't like you guys. Wait, you can find Roger pretty much everywhere at the number 40 with our SPLESH. That's 40 Split Splash. With he streams pretty much on a Tuesday and a Sunday. Is that correct, Roger?
Correct.
Ooh, beautiful. You could also find him on YouTube, dropping those quality videos and all that kind of good stuff. You can find me at LPGardens.you pretty much everywhere. You can also find me on, all other stuff on Simply Binge, pretty much everywhere else, or at Simply Binge UK. And as always, we wouldn't like miss on any of the episodes of that Beautiful Life podcast. Many beautiful people like to subscribe to this podcast on Castbox, Acast, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Google Podcasts, SimplyBinge.com, and elsewhere. And what's coming in like it, that we're giving it for free. So, as always, guys, this has been queued for your pleasure. It's a wrap. That is episode 183 in the bag. La Balleur. And
Yep.
let your boy go check on the chibis. I'll see you guys in the next one.